What is up, guys? It is your girl Antoinette, and I am back with another video in my channel that is very different from something I've ever done before. But I feel like today I need to do it. I need to sit down and get my life together. So here's step one of my debt-free journey. If you are interested, please go ahead and continue watching. So I should start off by saying that I'm a recent college graduate. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. Yes, I know I can hear the boos from far away. I could get into the whole thing about why I chose psychology, and I think I have a couple videos about it on my channel. But I wanted to come here today to talk about my debt-free journey that I'm about to embark on, like head on, full, you know, and also how I got into debt and everything like that. So if you're new to my channel, I'm Antoinette. I post once or twice a week and I make a lot of good things, a lot of new things that are new to me that may be new to you, and I do hope you stay along for the ride on this debt-free journey. So I guess I could start off by saying how much debt I'm in, which I actually don't know because I've been spending, and that's really sad. So right now we're gonna calculate it and we're gonna see. I'm gonna open up my handy dandy iPad and see. So I do want to start off and say that I am kind of low income at the moment. I guess I've always been low income because I'm a recent college graduate who hasn't found her first job right out of college yet. Yeah, so that is right off the bat. Let me go to Google Sheets. I am a person that I have to know everything about all of the debt I'm in. I have to know what debt I'm in, and I have to know who owns it. I have to know where it is and how much it is, but I don't have like a number, like a huge number in my head. Right off the bat, we know I got student loans. If I told you guys I was low income, we know I got student loans, and we know that a lot of those student loans are not cheap. College is not cheap at all, and I don't know, sometimes I regret going and sometimes I don't because of the experiences that I had. And I feel like you're really just paying for the connections in college, and I didn't make a lot of those. Well, like with friends and people, but I didn't work as hard as I could have, and that's why I'm in kind of the predicament that I am in. But that is the past. I can only control myself going forward and control my own narrative and how I want my life to be. So we're gonna start off with using my phone as a calculator. I have about 4 credit cards. Yeah, I have 4 credit cards, and honestly, big mistake getting so many and then spending so much. So 2 of them, I'm gonna be completely transparent. I feel like, why make the video if I'm just gonna lie about stuff, and why make the video if I'm just gonna omit details? So let's say the first one is a credit card through my credit union. This is my very first credit card that I got when I started college a couple years ago, and right now it is $17.80 that I owe on that. And then plus I have a Amazon Prime credit card, and it is currently $12,085 that I owe. I mean, not 12,000. Wow, not 12,000. It is 1,000. So that is about 300 numbers mean things. So it's about $3,065 I owe just off consumer debt with credit cards, I guess. Then one credit card, I did owe $723 on it. It was to get my bed we see in the back, and I could have paid that with cash, but I got into the habit of spending on credit cards and just paying back in increments, which I feel like is a bad habit to get into. It works for a lot of people. It works for people in low income, but I don't know. I feel like for me, especially being low income, having to pay on something every few months is not working for me anymore. It's not something that I want to keep doing, adding these extra bills to my monthly expenses, and also buying things that I cannot afford. So I also owe for quad pay. We're gonna go to that. I did get my camera through quad pay, and we're gonna go there and see how much I owe for the camera. I could have paid cash. I definitely could pay this off if I really wanted to, but yeah, so I still owe $450 on this. So overall, for consumer debt, I have $3,515.64 that I owe to a bank or another person, business, I guess I could say. So that is that. Like, I wanted to get a car. I did want to go out and get a car note, but I just don't feel like that's something I should do right now, especially in my situation where I know I can't afford it, and I feel like I should save up, which I will be talking about next. So I do want a car. I do want a nice shiny Honda. I feel like if I do get a car, it would be under 10K. It would be used, and we're probably going to talk about that because it may be a necessity. Sometimes there's situations where you have to finance a car, and I know you're saying no, there's not ever a situation where you have to finance a car, but let me tell you, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm not making excuses for myself. I'm not gonna go out and buy a car anytime soon. It's gonna be an informed decision. Trying to get out of debt, not get into more debt, but you know, sometimes you gotta work and move things around. So right now, I don't have a car at all. I don't have any car because I barely leave, you know, barely leave the house right now. So that's that $3,000. And then my other debt, which is not that bad. I could be rid of that if I really put my mind to it in like 4 to 5 months. So student loans is the majority, and I already kind of, if you see it here, it already kind of shows like prices and everything. So I have loans in my name, and I also have loans in my mother's name. So these are all student loans that I took out for my 2 years that I did at university. My first 2 years of school I didn't really do 2 years of university. Let me explain. My first 2 years at community college, I had zero debt, nothing, not a zilch. And then due to the situation I was in, I decided that it would be better if I leave. But I could not afford an apartment. I could not afford to be out on my own in that way. But it was very important that I was out of the situation that I was in. So I moved onto campus because loans are very easy to get. When it comes to student loans, they just throw money at you, honestly. And it's kind of weird because then they don't throw money at you too. So I feel like the school system is very intricate and doesn't make sense a lot of the times with what they do. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 student loans in my name, and these amount to, so overall in my name I have $17,689.75 of debt in my name. Now everybody knows when you go to college they offer the Parent Plus loan, and it's really easy to get. I mean, your parent has to have like shitty credit if they don't get it. And we were approved, so my mother was able to take out money for me to attend my last year and a half of college. Two college years. I graduated in a little under 4 years, but the way that it went, I started school in 2017 and I graduated December 2020. So it was a little under 4 years, and yeah, I racked up in those 2 years at my university. I racked up debt that I wish I hadn't racked up. So for my mother, I'm including my mother in the debt in her name that she took out for me, because it was my education and it's something I should solely be responsible for, because she is not like reaping the benefits of me having a degree or going to college. I reap the benefits and I'm the sole reason she took those out, and it was very incredible for her to do that. And I think it's a nice opportunity for parents to be able to do this for their child. But I feel like if you can avoid debt and if you can avoid taking out student loans, that's the best thing. Here we are, and we're gonna work through it. So we're gonna add the loan onto my mom to the student debt. So overall, I owe $48,984.75. So that is actually not as big. If I were to go to grad school, I would probably owe more, and that was a thing that I should probably talk about it now. So with this almost $50,000 of debt, I decided that I did not want to go to grad school. I feel like for a career in psychology, from the starting salary of a person with a bachelor's in psychology, which is, let me do a Google search real quick. So the average salary for a bachelor's degree in psychology is $49,532 a year. So in my opinion, this is the same amount of debt that I have, right? This is the same amount of debt that I have. Now, the average salary for a master's degree, because I would go to get my master's in psychology to become a licensed practical, that's very nursing. To become a licensed professional counselor, yes, a LPC, or a therapist basically, in Texas. So the average salary for someone with a master's in psychology is $85,000. Okay, so the average salary for a psychologist MA for LPC is like $70,000 to $80,000. Okay, we see that's a really good big number. But let's see, average cost of a master's. Average cost of a master's in psychology is $30,000, right? Me adding on $30,000 minimum, maybe average, to my already $50,000 is me $80,000. So even making the highest $80K I will still be like neck and neck with my debt and the amount that I'm making, which means I will never be out of debt, and I won't really be making much because all of it is going to debt. Does that make sense? So for me, I had to sit back and think about what I actually want to do and what I actually want to pursue. And nursing is a very, very I don't want to say lucrative, I don't think that's a good word, but it's a very stable field, whereas I feel like psychology is not the only thing that I want to do. As in, I don't only want to be a therapist and do talk therapy and things like that. I realized that after I got the degree. Yeah, so for me, I feel like I'm not going to be fulfilled, and I feel like nursing offers so many options to where I can go ahead and still do psychiatry or psychology and also do nursing. So I can be a travel nurse, I could be a pediatrics nurse, I can be a psych nurse. And my sister brought up to me that there's a such thing as a nurse practitioner, and a nurse practitioner is basically someone who diagnoses, basically does almost the same things as a doctor, but they're not a doctor, and obviously the track for them is different. So the average salary of a psych NP, average salary is, the top earners are $166,000 and the average is $123,000. So I feel like this is a way better debt to income ratio. I'm not adding in the cost it's going to take to get my BSN, which I'm going to do an accelerated program, and then going to get like the master's and all that stuff. It doesn't make sense right now, and it probably won't ever make sense. I'll make my decision, but that's where my head is at with the future and me having a career. Don't judge me. I do want to pursue acting, and that's not really into the, like, that's not really counted into the debt thing. I'm still going to be going to school, but I do want to pursue acting as maybe a full-time job if I just so happen to get where I want to in the future. But for right now, I am planning to attend classes in the summer and like all year round so that I can get my BSN and get into nursing school to eradicate the debt, because you need to have higher income to make the debt lower. So where I'm at right now is I make it like $23,000 a year. I'm 23 years old, so I still have a bunch of options when it comes to finding out what I want to do and figuring out how I'm going to tackle this debt. So I don't really know how yet. We're going to do how for now. I'm on unemployment. I'm hoping to find a job within the next few weeks because I don't like being on unemployment. I don't like that this is what is the thing now because of COVID. I don't like that I've been out of work for so long, and I do tutor my nephew while he does online school, so I get paid for that, so I'm not like completely munching off the government, which right now is perfectly fine because of the whole pandemic and people have lost jobs, buildings have closed, businesses have closed, and it's just a mess of things. But I decided that maybe now is like a safe enough time with the vaccine coming out. Now is a safe enough time to go and get a job and get back into the workforce, because I honestly, I can't do it anymore. I can't have someone else like determining my income in that way the unemployment does. Like, they want so much from you to give you kibbles and bits basically, and I don't like that. So right now, low income, have a little bit of income, and I just realized that I need to stop my spending. Like, it's getting out of hand, and me doing things is getting out of hand. Like, I need to have some control over my life. I do have anxiety, and for a while it has given me anxiety to be able to tackle this, but I'm a good saver. I save a lot. When I do save it, it's easy for me to save because I can tell myself not to do this. Now, shopping is more impulse, which have to work through that because that is really, it's really bringing me down. And I know in the future, not right now, but in the future, because saving down a down payment for a house is very, very far in the future. But I'm saying that's what I want to do. Maybe by the time I'm 30 and thinking I want to settle down or do something. Now, kids are not in my plan in the future, so I'm not going to be thinking about them right now. I'm not going to be thinking about how to set up for my future generations if I want to have any. But this is for me. Like, this debt-free journey is for me, and this is to show myself that I can do it, and it's also to secure my future and to secure my retirement, because I feel like growing up I didn't know financial literacy. I didn't know about a lot of things, and I'm learning and teaching. I do have Dave Ramsey's book, so I'm going loosely based off of his steps while also giving my room giving myself room and flexibility to change and adapt and make the steps so that they work for me. Like Dave Ramsey says, credit cards, you don't need them, but how do you have a credit? You have to have a credit score. You have to be able to buy a house. Like, you have to be able to do a bunch of things with this credit score. Jobs check credit scores, which is really crazy to me. I feel like that's very classist, and I feel like it's something else, but I don't know the word. But checking a credit score, like, I do have a couple of apps that I want to talk about for my debt-free journey. So I felt it was really not good to go ahead and buy Dave Ramsey's debt-free planner app where you have to pay money. That's kind of weird to pay money to use a debt-free app. So a free app I use is, where is it? It's called Debt Payoff Planner. It doesn't have everything in here. I have to update it, but it just shows, I don't know, is this gonna autofocus? It just shows debt. It shows debt, and it lets you put in here all the debts that you owe and then when it's going to be paid off. So that is something that I use loosely because I do keep everything in track in a Google Sheets document, and I also keep track of my budget for the month or my usual monthly expenses. So for the most part, I don't have a lot of debt. It's definitely not a lot. I definitely can get it tackled within the next maybe 3 or 4 years if I stay on this journey. Am I going to stop taking vacations? No. Am I going to stop having fun and living my life? No. Am I going to change the bad habits so that they work for me better for the good? Yes. I definitely don't want to be one of those people who's like down to my last and is wondering how I'm going to get out of that. No, that's not going to be something that I'm going to do, but I definitely know that I have habits that I need to change, like spending. I'm going to be taking my cards off of all DoorDash, Uber Eats, using those sparingly, eating in more, eating inside of the home more, cooking more meals, making sure that I'm using like meal planning, things that are cheaper and more nutritious than the meals that I've been eating, because first of all, they're not healthy, and second, fast food is expensive. Third, no longer giving out money that I can't afford not to have back. I think this is like not a very minor one. It's not specific to everyone, but for me, lending money is not something that I think I feel comfortable with anymore because people don't pay you back, and yeah, it's just, that's a whole other thing. Learning and changing my habits so that I'm not just like boredom spending, going on Amazon and things like that. I do have a dog. I'm not getting rid of him. He is a couple weeks old, not a couple weeks, but like 11 weeks old, and he's somewhere, well, he's in his cage, he's sleeping, but I do have him, so I'm factoring in like saving for him to have insurance. Well, he has pet insurance that I pay for, saving for emergencies on my own, and also making sure that he's healthy and he can eat. Like, I'm not struggling to pay my bills and also feed him. Like, it's not the case. I do struggle when I overspend and when I go out of the budget. And I put myself in these predicaments where I can't pay this or I can't pay that, or I have to wonder and dip into savings and things like that. And that's not good because I shouldn't be dipping into savings unless it's an emergency. So that is basically my debt-free journey. That is basically what I'm getting into. This entire thing is great. I have some words for myself: determination over motivation. Even though I'm not motivated to go through the debt-free journey, I want to be determined and disciplined. That's what I mean to say, disciplined, and make sure that this is what I'm doing to ensure my future and to ensure that I'm living the life I want. I want the big house. I want the nice fancy car. But to get there, I have to make some changes and understand that poverty and being low income is not also it's not a result of you not working hard. It's not a result of me not working hard. The system is screwed, and I'm going to work it to the best of my abilities and try as hard as I can, because getting out of poverty and leaving that life behind is very hard. A lot of people don't get out of poverty. A lot of people have the trauma